In the quiet village of Yonghua during the Joseon dynasty, there lived a woman named Yejin. Her life was humble yet content. Her husband, Minjae, was her anchor, her confidant, and the love of her life. Together, they dreamed of a peaceful future, tending to their small patch of land and raising a family. But fate had other plans. One fateful autumn, the king decreed that all able-bodied men must join the army to defend the kingdom from invading forces. Minjae was called to serve, and Hyejin's heart ached as she bid him farewell. "Wait for me, my Hyejin," Minjae said, holding her hands tightly. "No matter how long it takes, I will return to you." Hyejin nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I will wait," she promised, her voice steady, despite the storm raging in her heart. She watched him disappear down the dusty road, clutching the letter he left behind. Days turned into months, and months into years. Some nights, Hyejin would sit by the lantern, her silent companion in the dark. She would clutch Minjae's letter close to her heart, tears streaming down her face as she whispered his name. The weight of longing and uncertainty often felt unbearable, but even in her grief, she found solace in the promise he had made. The village whispered. "He's never coming back, Hyejin," one of the women said with a tone of pity as they gathered at the river. Another added, "You're wasting your life waiting for a ghost." Their words pierced her heart, but Hyejin refused to let them see her falter. She would simply smile and say, "You may not believe, but I do." Still their taunts lingered, trying to chip away at her resolve. "He won't come back," the women would say while washing clothes by the river. "It's been 3 years, Hyejin. The war took him. Move on." But Hyejin refused to believe them. Every night she lit a lantern and placed it by her window, a beacon for Minjae to find his way home. She tended their land, kept their house as he had left it, and clung to his letter, rereading it until the ink began to fade. Her faith never wavered, even when loneliness gnawed at her heart. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the mountains and painted the sky in hues of orange and gold, Hyejin knelt before her lantern. Her hands clasped in prayer, she whispered, "Please guide him back to me." The following morning, a commotion stirred in the village. A group of weary soldiers had returned, their clothes tattered and faces weathered. Hyejin's heart raced as she rushed to the village square. Her eyes scanned the crowd, desperate and hopeful. And then she saw him. Minjae stood at the edge of the square, leaning on a wooden cane. His once strong frame was thinner, his face marked with scars of battle. But his eyes, those kind, warm eyes that Hyejin had dreamed of every night, were the same. "Minjae!" she cried, tears streaming as she ran to him. He dropped his cane and opened his arms just in time to catch her. "Hyejin," he whispered, his voice trembling. "I told you I would return." She clung to him, sobbing into his chest. "I never stopped believing. I knew you'd come back." The villagers watched in awe, silenced by the power of her faith. The whispers turned to admiration, and the woman who had been pitied was now revered as a symbol of unwavering belief. That night, Minjae and Hyejin sat together under the stars, her lantern glowing softly beside them. He recounted tales of the war, the battles he fought, and the thought of her that kept him alive. "Every night, I pictured you waiting for me," he said. "Your love was my strength." Hyejin smiled, her fingers intertwined with his. "And your promise was my light." This story teaches us that faith and belief can move mountains, even in the darkest times. In today's fast-paced world, where doubt and negativity often prevail, Hee-jun's story reminds us of the importance of hope and perseverance. Whether it's waiting for a loved one, chasing a dream, or overcoming challenges, unwavering belief can inspire strength and resilience in ourselves and those around us. Once you choose hope, anything's possible.